I'm asking Congress to hold off because our negotiators, our partners, those who are most intimately involved in this, assess that it will jeopardize the possibility of providing a diplomatic solution. I will veto a bill that comes to my desk.
Well, that's President Obama delivering his most impassioned criticism so far of calls for potential new sanctions against Iran. The president, along with British Prime Minister David Cameron, arguing that any new sanctions from Congress could torpedo the continuing nuclear talks with Iran, aimed, of course, at preventing the mullahs from building a potential nuclear bomb. Well, some in Congress are demanding action on new sanctions. The president does not want it. Will they hurt or help? Joining us now is Ellen Ratner, Fox News contributor and bureau chief for Fox Radio News Service, and Brad Blakeman, former deputy assistant to President George W. Bush. Ellen and Brad, great to see you. Brad, let me start with you.
Thank you.
So is Nicey Nice going to work with Tehran?
Hasn't worked yet, has it? We have 6 years of an Obama administration where he ran on the platform that Iran won't get a bomb. As president, he said Iran won't get a bomb. And Eric, Iran is going to get a bomb under this president. They know they have 2 years. They're running the clock on him. And Congress knows. Senators like Menendez from New Jersey, a Democrat, has said, Mr. President, your approach has not worked. It's time to use Congress as a leverage to get Iran to do that which you've tried to do for 6 years and failed.
Well, they say, look, they've said in the past that it's illegal and immoral to have a bomb. You don't believe what they say in Tehran, Brad? That it's
no,
against their tenets?
I wouldn't trust Iran as far as I could throw this building. Iran has proved themselves to be unhonorable, distrustful, and they're an enemy of Israel. They're an enemy of the United States. They're causing all kinds of chaos in the Middle East and against American interests. They cannot, should not be trusted. Use Reagan as an example. Trust but verify. Verify. And if you can't verify, you can't trust.
Yeah, so, Ellen, what about trust, don't verify? What about these sanctions?
Well, first of all, I don't think the sanctions are going to work, and I'll tell you why. Number one, Iran has just taken, they took and put him in jail in July, an American who also has Iranian citizenship who worked for the Washington Post, but they indicted him this week. And so they're going to be doing things like that. And secondly, we can put all the sanctions we want, but many countries go around them with technology, etc., and they just go through another country. So we put on a sanction, but it doesn't really work. It just annoys them, and we know it doesn't work.
Yeah, they've been sanctioned already. I mean, that's a very good point, Ellen. Look, they had a cone, apparently, that was built with certain metal that you can only use for a nuclear bomb. Parchin is a military facility. They won't even let the UN inspectors visit Parchin. They won't let the UN interview the nuclear inspectors and the nuclear workers. And, of course, they've got their ballistic missile development. And Brad, they have violated 6 Security Council resolutions so far. I think the president is worried that if there's another sting, that they'll just drop everything and brace for a bomb.
Well, that's exactly what they're doing now. They've used Obama as a pawn. Appeasement doesn't work to our enemies. We should have learned that lesson in World War II.
So what do we do?
And what do we do is we use wait a second, Ellen. We use all the tools in our toolbox. We cripple them with sanctions. What we do is we try and use our, military action if necessary, not going in on the ground, but taking out their facilities as Israel has done before. They have to get the message. They are not going to get a bomb today, tomorrow, or ever. And unless they get that message, and unless it's clear and convincing, they're going to continue on this path. And they want to run the clock on this president because they know they've got 2 years and they don't know what's coming next.
You know, Ellen, when Brad said, as Israel has done before, obviously meaning the nuclear reactor in Syria and, of course, Saddam's reactor in Iraq. I mean, you know, the clock is ticking. What do you fear?
I think Bradley Blakeman is a genius. I think he's very, very smart. But you have to admit, Mr. Blakeman, that all of these other countries, not all of them, but many of them go around the sanctions and they wink and a nod to the United States, and then they do business with Iran anyway.
And that's why it's time maybe for some other action, Ellen. But for a president of the United States to say, I will veto, only helps our enemy. It doesn't help him in his negotiations.
Well, the talks are supposed to end in March. They've been delayed so many times before. People betting they'll be delayed and pushed forward or back again. Brad and Ellen, thank you so much.
Thank you, Eric.
Thank you.